Hi, good morning or good afternoon. Today's video, I wanted to talk about the 10 things that I love about Texas. I moved from the West Coast over to the East Texas, and these are just things that I find so beautiful and stimulating for those of you that either thinking of moving to Texas or to a new place for new beginnings. But the 10 things that I wrote out is I love how simple the people live here. I love that they, from lower income to higher income, they just, it's so beautiful the way people live and how creative they are with their land and just the community feel. But I love that about Texas. In a smaller town, I can't speak for the cities. I love that number two, that you hear about Jesus so much more here than I did in the city back West Coast. And that just resonates with me, that people are more obliged to talk about Jesus. You hear Christian music in the stores. People tell you God bless you, and they mean it. They're sincere. Obviously, I'm not speaking of every single human being here, but you do hear it more here in Texas, and I do appreciate and love that about the people here. Also, we live in a smaller town in East Texas, so if you like smaller rural towns, the property tax here in Anderson County, I feel like it's very reasonable and cheap. I'm going to say cheap, and I mean that in the highest regard for your home. So there is Tyler nearby for jobs, and they have Jacksonville, Palestine, and Frankston. So those are just thoughts for people if you have like a medical field, or there's a bunch of not odd, but numerous little jobs, but the medical field would probably be a high ranking here for Tyler, Texas. So in the Anderson County, I can't speak for any other place, I feel like the property tax is really low. So those are just thoughts for you if you wanted to move somewhere. And I've even seen houses as low as 100,000. Mind you, I know that it's probably smaller. You probably have small, no yard, but these are things that you can survive on. And I would say the average rentals are between 12 and 1,500 from when I scan it. That's what people are paying. So I know that's still high for modern day. But those are just kind of food for thoughts, that if you needed to move here, wanted to move here, you could. Also, the weather. The weather is extremely humid, and yes, it is hot, but I love it. I love how you sweat and just how the air feels so tropical. Obviously, if you go towards closer to Houston, it's even more tropical. But I have to tell you, I appreciate it so much because the vegetation here is so beautiful. And yes, you have to water sometimes, like obviously if you have certain fruit trees or things like that, but the normal plants and wild trees, you don't have to do that. So I love the weather here. It's hot and muggy, but I like it. So it beats dry heat in Nevada. The fifth thing I like about this East Texas smaller town is the community. I feel like people have Facebook as the news, and I love it. They put things that I know every place has this. They have things that they're selling, events. They have all these events, and they continually post it and invite people. So I feel like there's a lot of community here. Obviously, you live in the city. There's a lot of churches and there's things to do, but here it just feels more personal and closer. So I really appreciate that about East Texas in a small town. And I've already stated how I love how the vegetation here is green and it's wild, but it's beautiful. Love it. And I love the women and men here because they're so natural. And again, I'm speaking from a small town. I love how outdoorsy they are. They are continuously, you know, they have chickens, they have horses, they have animals. It's very common here, even if you live in a small little property. And I love how people are so back to, they don't even probably realize it, how they're homesteads or they're natural. I'm a little afraid of animals, so I admire that in the people here, how the women just get out there and deal with their chickens and their roosters and feeding their goats. So you see a lot of that over here, and I love it so much. But also they have number 8 is the antiques and odd end stores. There's so many boutiques and odd end stores. I just love it. People are, I guess, kind of like consignment, but in the antique stores. So you can find a lot of cool things, really old, and you see that a lot in East Texas. So I appreciate that and like that. And they have donut stores here like crazy, but they're so cute. Number 9, the churches and communities, which I already kind of hit on, but all the churches here we've volunteered with. I love how they connect with the community. They'll do clothes drives and food. They'll do potluck style, and they do this frequently. And I notice in the big churches or the city churches, they do it here and there, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's not what I'm hating on. I'm explaining what what they do here in the smaller communities. They are churches, some of them feed or do potluck style once a week on Wednesday service. So they'll eat together and then they'll do a Bible study. I think that is so beautiful, and what we need more in the world is more community and working together. And I just appreciate that. And also on Facebook, I know it is everywhere throughout the world, but they post all the community events. So even though there's a city here, a town here, you get to see everything. And I love that about Facebook and the community events, how they have so many random things, like a tomato fest in Jacksonville. They will have craft and goodies and home baked and homemade quilts, and just the people here, and I'm not saying they didn't have it in cities, but the people here really connect with the knitting and the crocheting and the building and their eggs and their own homestead. I love it. So those are 10 things I love about Texas, East Texas. And those of you that are nervous, or you really want to know somebody who moved from the city, I moved from Nevada to East Texas, and I really appreciate their simplicity and style of living, and I just thought I would share that today. But in closing, I wanted to share a small scripture in 2 Corinthians 1:12, verse 12. For our boasting is this, the testimony of our conscience, that we conducted ourselves in the world in simplicity and godly sincerity, not with fleshy wisdom, but by the grace of God, and more abundantly toward you. I think that's so pretty. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening to me, and I hope you have a good day, and God bless you.